Hello, lovely people. Today I want to talk about a physics lesson that really changed my life. So, when I was, I think, in 12th grade, I had this physics lesson, and I was really into physics. I like it up until this day, and it's really fascinating for me. And the physics teacher told us about the double-slit experiment. If you're a little bit into physics, you might know it. If you're also interested in parallel realities and other universes, you maybe also know. But if not, and still if you know, I will repeat it for you. And I think it's really good to hear that from time and time again, because it's absolutely fascinating. Physical researchers they were making an experiment. They were shooting electrons onto a plate with a slit, and as they thought, okay, an electron is a particle, there it should show one line. And this is how it was. And then they added another slit. And as they thought it is a particle, there should be two lines on the back after shooting the electrons through these slits. There should be two lines, like an imprint of these two slits, of course. But this wasn't the case. The electrons were behaving like a wave. So if you shoot a wave through these two slits, like water, then you will see a pattern at the back behind the slit. It's like a kind of zebra pattern where there are lighter stripes and darker stripes, because the waves, when they overlap, they cancel each other out. If you want to see this visually, you can also research on the internet and find lots of pictures and videos and everything. But yeah, I just want to describe it generally first. So they were wondering, like, what is now happening? We want to measure that. We want to see where the electron goes through which slit. And they added a measurement tool. And then the craziest thing happened. Then there was no pattern shown anymore behind the two slits. There were two imprints shown. So then the electrons were behaving again like particles, just because there was an observer. So this really made me think about reality in a very, very different way, because this made me think, then the observer has an immense influence on what is real. Because if there's no observer, it behaves like a wave. And if there is an observer, it behaves like a particle. And how they explain it is that when there is no observer, there's kind of every possibility is there. The particle can be everywhere. There are thousands and thousands of possibilities where it could be. But if there is an observer, then it has to be at a specific point. And this really is crazy if you think about this in life. Like, only if there is an observer, there is something definite. And you can think about this more and more, and it gets crazier and crazier. Like, my thoughts were, then if I'm not looking at something, is this then even existing or is it not existing? Or how do other people see the same things? Does a different observer also change what the person is seeing? Like all these crazy things, and you can go a lot deeper there, but this is not what I want to talk about today. What I want to talk about is that this is really a proof that every possibility, everything exists at the same time. And of course, then there are different probabilities that something can happen, and only if we are getting closer and going more into an action, then the probability becomes so high that this then manifests in our world, that we then see it in a physical world, in a physical state. So yeah, this is really insane, because then it also says parallel realities exist always, because all the possibilities are there. And the thing is, it's just getting more and more, because when you are on a life path, you have always decisions to make, and you have so many choices, and you just take one path. But if you take this one path, there will come another stage where you have to make a decision, and then there will be lots of possibilities again, and there are thousands of possibilities always. What you could do in every moment, what you could say, how you could act. So there are hundreds and thousands of realities where you did different things than you did in this reality. So it's really insane, and I love it. It's so fascinating for me. So for example, there is a version of you that maybe lives in another country. There is a version of you that has another partner, or has a partner, or no partner. There is a version of you that is incredibly successful. There is a version of you that is really unsuccessful. And yeah, it all exists at the same time. And now how can we use that? How can we use that in our life? How is this practical? Because this is now just theory. We can use that for us by seeing that everything is always possible. We just have to take the right path. We have to make the right decisions to then come closer to the probabilities of whatever we want to achieve. So if you are moving on a life path, a reality where you are really interested and also motivated to know more about let's say animals. You love animals, and you love to rescue animals, you love to help animals, and you want to be a doctor for animals. So as you are moving on this path, you make the according decisions to become an animal doctor at one point maybe. So this drives all your decisions that you are making. That drives you from the decision in school by learning Latin, for example, because you need it for the studies and you already know it. You make internships where you can work with animals already, to get to know animals, to get to know how they behave and how their physics are. And then maybe you get an internship at where the animals are really treated, where you can see a doctor working already, because this is what you want to do. So you're moving down this path, and you're making the decisions that make it more and more probable that you can get to the stage of being then an animal doctor. But there are thousands of more realities where you could have gone a complete other way, right? But this makes it obvious for you that you have all these possibilities. And the thing is, most times we think very narrow. We have this one path that we know, that we go again and again and again. And if we just know there are so many options, then it really broadens our perspective. So for example, let's say you were eating always in the same restaurant. You were always going there. You maybe don't have the other options even in mind. But if you think about this and research a little bit about this, you have so many options. It's crazy. And this is really what I want to tell you today. You have all these options. You can always do something else than whatever you do now, whatever you did before. You have all these possibilities. You can do something else if you want. Maybe you don't see it yet, but if you go deeper and search for it, and then it will come, then it will flow to you. Then this reality that you want will also manifest for you. Then things will just happen for you easily. All right? Yeah. So in which reality are you living right now? Which reality, which probabilities did you use so far to move to the reality you are in right now? Yeah. And how can you use these possibilities, all these possibilities that you have for you? Yeah, this was maybe a little bit more theoretical video today, but I hope you can see all these possibilities that you have. Yeah, so this was the inspiration for today. Have a wonderful day and see you tomorrow.